Initially for research, I think the internet played an important role. The internet gave me access. It was like a sort of giant library at my fingertips. Gave me access to existing trailers, so that I can perform textual analysis, existing magazines, existing posters. It also allowed me to run case studies on directors of the urban drama, and in that identify their styles, identify the conventions that they sort of invented, or the conventions that they may have strayed away from, and the reasoning behind it and stuff like that. It really got me comfortable with the genre and allowed me to go in depth. So I think the internet played a big role. And in terms of documenting all of that, documenting my progress, documenting my research and planning journey, I'd say it was programs such as Microsoft Word, Microsoft PowerPoint, and Microsoft Excel to some extent that allowed me to document all my progress and present it visually, etc., etc. So yeah, in terms of constructing, in terms of the construction, that was entirely done using Adobe Creative Suite. They provide you with very powerful tools. Adobe Photoshop was a powerful tool in terms of the construction of what do you call it again? In terms of the construction of the poster and the magazine. It allowed me to bring out that sort of urban drama. I think that was the sole tool that allowed me to bring out that urban drama feel, and allow me to really convey that idea of the concrete jungle, imposing, very binding, very limiting and stuff. I think the use of tools like saturation, curves, to adjust the color and stuff like that, and then afterwards additional additional brushes and stuff like that. I think that really helped us, helped me in the construction of my ancillary. And for my magazine, I think the main attraction of that magazine is the stylized effect that I used, the sort of technological / robotic effect that I used on the director. That really sort of brings out that sense of behind the scenes, that sense of sophistication, that sense of out of this world, futuristic kind of depiction. I think it's really attractive to consumers in that sense.
In terms of the media technologies used in my ancillary task, we used the sort of we used both hardware and software to be able to create the final project and the final product. With the final project.
Thinking to myself too.
With the hardware that I used a digital camera, and I was able to sort of create an image similar to the images used in real life media text, and to be able to connote the same messages that they would do in the actual real life production. The other sort of software we used was sort of Adobe software and Adobe Creative Suite and a Microsoft Office. With the research and planning, Microsoft Word and Microsoft PowerPoint were sort of the primary softwares that I sort of used to be able to analyze text and real life text, and use their sort of creative ideas and sort of emerge them into mine, and be able to plan what my actual work would look like. And in terms of researching, Web 2.0 was helpful because it was sort of a library in the comfort of my own home, and I was able to sort of if I was able to think of an idea, I'll just quickly go onto a computer or something, go online and check if what sort of messages this idea that I had sort of connoted, and then it helped me to be able to implement it into my work and look at other sort of work and magazine front covers.
The main technologies I actually used was Web 2.0, Web 2.0 hardware and software. Like in terms of software, we actually used Microsoft Office, like Word, PowerPoint, Adobe, Photoshop. Yeah, and WinRAR we actually used that as well. Like we used WinRAR to sort of extract, basically to compress like the pictures we used, because it couldn't fit on actual USB, so we had to compress them and then put them to our USBs. Now, in terms of Microsoft Office, PowerPoint, we used PowerPoint to sort of like, we done a group presentation which was also recorded. Like we also used the Handycam to record our last presentation. We also used Microsoft Word in our scenery. We had to compare professional media products, such like we'll compare posters, magazines, and then upload it onto Wikispace. Wikispace was actually another sort of Web 2.0 where we'll like share our work on like the website. Also, in terms of hardware, we took pictures. We used like the Director Quality's camera, which was a 10 megapixel camera, and it was like it was pretty good as well. Like when we'll be taking.
Okay, for research and planning, I used the hardware that I used was obviously a PC, and I used USB to transfer data from computer to computer, or from different areas to different areas. The software that was used was Microsoft Office. I used Microsoft Word to create stuff like questionnaire, stuff like that, and so that I used PowerPoint to create my presentation for my research, my journal research and planning. And
you did last time.
The hardware that was used for the construction of my ancillary task was a computer to help me edit the pictures into the way I wanted it to be. A CyberShot 12 megapixel camera from Quessy, and USB to transfer data from computer to computer. Software that was used was mainly Adobe CS. The main program that was used was Adobe Photoshop CS4, so that I could, which was used so that I could edit the pictures into the way I wanted them to look like, and the way I envisioned them looking like in my drafts. And then I used Web 2.0 was not really used in the construction of my ancillary task, as I used the internet solely to do textual analysis on existing magazines and what they look like, so that I could get a little bit of inspiration, and it could help me on the right path to what I was looking for in mind. But yeah.
Okay, for the ancillary, in reference to hardware, I use stuff like cameras, or a camera, USB, computer, and like the type of camera I had, I felt that the quality was good enough to like enhance the quality of my photography, especially for the poster, but there may have been like less quality when it came to my magazine, due to the fact, I don't necessarily think it was the camera, but then I think the time in which the picture was taken was a bit dark, like too dark, although I could have enhanced this later on, like in Photoshop. But like with computers, because I had a computer at my disposal the majority of the time, it didn't cause any problems. And with the USB, it made it easy to like go on different computers and just upload work and stuff. In reference to software, I used a variety of software. For research, I I used Microsoft Excel, where I conducted like the results for my questionnaire, and here I was able to create tables and then merely copy and paste them onto Word so that I could display it like in a way where I could then later on put it on Wikispace. And also Photoshop was like the most vital part of producing the work.